The Dershow.
The United Nations has almost universally condemned Israel for bombing rocket launchers in Lebanon. The head of the UN condemned them. Others at the UN condemned them. Of course, the Iranian president said the blame for everything in the Middle East is on Israel. Of course, the blame is completely on Iran. If not for Iran, none of this would be happening. And so I'm not surprised about that. I'm not surprised that CNN seems to be condemning only Israel and not giving real context for what Israel has been doing. Obviously, if Hezbollah weren't firing rockets, Israel wouldn't be bombing rocket launchers. Hezbollah started firing rockets on October 8th, right after the massacre of 1,200 people and the kidnapping of 250 people. Hezbollah joined in the bullying and starting to attack Israel. Today, they launched a rocket that would have hit Tel Aviv if it hadn't been intercepted. But we don't hear that from CNN. We don't hear that from academics. We don't hear it from the United Nations. But for me, the biggest shock is we didn't hear it from the Pope today. Pope was a great man. Admire his concerns for peace and human rights. But at the end of his homily today, he, without mentioning Israel, condemned those that are bombing Lebanon without mentioning a word about why they're bombing Lebanon. It's as if suddenly the Israelis, bad people, just took a vote and decided, well, let's just bomb Lebanon for fun. He never mentioned the context. He never mentioned that it was Hezbollah who started the rockets. It was Hezbollah who targets cities. It's Hezbollah who is determined to destroy Israel. And Israel is only responding. If Hezbollah would stop firing rockets, there wouldn't be a single bombing in Israel. There wouldn't be any preparation for a ground attack, which may be necessary. The Pope ought to give context. His words are taken seriously and literally by many people. I know many Catholics who admire the Pope, but they don't agree with him on this one. They support Israel. I think the vast majority of Catholics in the United States, along with the vast majority of Protestants, support Israel and support Israel's right to defend itself against Hezbollah rocket attacks. And the Pope, who speaks for the morality of the Catholic Church and morality in general, ought to be more careful and ought to be more contextual when he condemns. He should say, look, he can say, and he has said this, I condemn all death and I condemn all, that's fine. That's what popes do and say. That's what rabbis do. That's what ministers do. But if he's going to focus specifically on Lebanon, he has to start by saying, if Hezbollah hadn't fired these rockets starting on October 8th, Israel would not have bombed a single rocket launcher. They knew there were 150,000 rocket launchers. For years, they haven't bombed them. It's only when the rocket launchers are used to fire rockets at Israel, now Tel Aviv, that Israel is responding. The Pope has to do a better job of putting everything in context so that people who listen to him get the whole picture, not just the picture that CNN and academics and the hard left get, namely of an Israel that's at fault for everything. The Pope should not be on that side of this issue. The Catholic Church is not in general. Catholics are not in general, and the Pope should be representing a true morality, not the selective morality that critics of Israel often indulge in.